Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Babcock, and welcome to BI6625, the study of the historical books of the Old Testament. Before we jump into the class, I want to give a quick apology. You'll notice in the background that there's a bed. This means I'm in a hotel room in Corpus Christi, Texas. I just learned that the introductory lecture that I recorded, my computer's microphone broke, so I had to run over to Best Buy, grab a external microphone, and am re-recording this lecture quickly. So I'm not dressed to look like a professor. I'm actually flying through Corpus Christi to Austin, then to Miami, and then back home to Antigua. But I wanted to make sure you had this information. Now, each week, at the beginning of the week, I will record a quick introductory lecture somewhere between 6 and 12 minutes to really orient you to the assignments for the week, and on occasion give you some hints if I feel that some early input might help you as you prepare for your assignments. But before we get to the academics, I want to encourage you to go to the Community Post Class Introduction section and introduce yourself to me and to your other classmates. In a asynchronous class where we're spread out across the world, it's always nice to get to know each other and see what points of connection that we have, and how I might be able to serve you better, and how each of your classmates might be able to get to know you better. So if you feel comfortable, share a picture of you, your family, something you love. On mine, I have a picture of my airplane, which I don't have a grandchild yet, so my airplane's as close as I have. And I've got a picture of my wife and I. So please take a few minutes. I would love for you to get to know me, and I would surely love to get to know you a bit better. This week we have 2 written assignments and a discussion post. So for assignment 1-1, Applying History Reflection, it's a blog in approximately 750 words, a page and a half, single-spaced. I would like for you to explain how this week's reading on the context of the historical books have challenged or expanded your understanding of how to interpret the historical books. Now, many people look at the Bible as if Israel lived all by itself, and yet Israel was surrounded by other nations: the Edomites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Assyrians. Each of these nations impacted Israel's history, and we learn about that in the historical books. So an understanding of these outside cultures helps us and provides context as to what is happening in Samuel and other books as we read through them. What was new to you, and how does this connect your past, present, or prospective ministry? So how does this connect to your past, present, or prospective ministry plans? What questions do you have? And is there anything you disagree with? So this is really kind of a summary blog on what have you learned through this week's reading, and perhaps some outside research. And a blog is a post that not only do I grade what you wrote, but you can actually read the assignment of other students, and part of the assignment is to comment on at least one other student's blog in addition to the one you wrote. Our second written assignment is assignment 1-2, and it's understanding historical details. I want you to create a 1-page handout that you could use for a Bible study or Sunday school class of young adults that concisely surveys the kinds of contextual details that exist in historiography and explains why each are important for interpretation. So think of it this way. You've got a 1-page handout that you're giving to support a lecture on the role of contextualization or role of context in understanding the historical books. So this again is summarizing the material that you read this week and perhaps some outside research on context. Now, I'm going to be grading this in two ways. First is on the content of what you have on that page. Is the information you have on the page useful, and does it convey the information that an audience would need to know if you were teaching a lecture on context? But secondly, and just as important, I'm going to be grading how this page looks. I want it to be readable, I want it to include images, I want it to include color, and I want it to have aesthetic and inviting formatting. So as you do it, pay attention to the details that you're giving, but also pay attention to how you design this handout. Both assignments 1-1 and 1-2 are due at midnight on Monday. Now this week we also have a discussion post. For this week's discussion, consider how you have read, studied, and or taught the historical books. In this discussion post, answer the following questions. What have you found most exciting about interpreting the historical books, and what do you find most difficult? So I want you to do some introspection here and think about why the historical books are important for us to understand and study in order to understand God. Because in many ways, they're history. It's a story starting with Joshua about how the Israelites got into the land of Israel. And then we go through Judges and Ruth and Samuel and Kings and Chronicles, and it details how these 12 tribes come together as a nation, fall apart into two nations, and then ultimately find themselves in exile outside of the land of Egypt, and really stuck in Assyria and Babylon. So why do we need to understand these books? What is God trying to communicate to his people through these books? As with all discussion posts, your first discussion post is due on Friday, midnight Central Standard Time. I'm looking for ongoing engagement in discussion over the weekend, ending at Monday at midnight Central Standard Time. Now, I have higher expectations of discussion posts than a lot of faculty. So please take a few minutes and watch the video that I've got under course announcements on what my expectations are. Essentially, I am looking for you to stay engaged in discussion with other students all weekend long. That means that doing your discussion post on Friday at midnight and then dropping a couple comments in does not cut it, because it's really just not engaging. You're just passively putting out a couple of comments. I would like for you to have dialogue as if we were in a classroom, back and forth with other students over the weekend, hopefully digging into a deeper understanding of the discussion question, but at a minimum getting to know each other a bit better. My lecture on that you have under announcements gives you more, but if you want an A in the discussion quote or discussion sections, then I have a higher engagement standard. Couple of last thoughts. First, please go introduce yourself. Second, I am looking forward to a great semester. I'm an Old Testament faculty member. My research area works most on narrative, which is highly found in the historical books. So I look forward to getting into this material with you, and I look forward to getting to know you as we all learn through God's Word. Finally, email or call me with any questions. I am traveling on Monday and Tuesday, but if you email me, I'll get back on those days. The rest of the week, I'll be in Antigua, and we'll have lots of time, so please give me a call or an email as you have questions or needs. Thanks for being in the course. Thanks for being part of Moody, and I know that God will use this material in your lives. Have a great day.